Nick here with tinywoodstove.com. We're loading up a Dwarf 5 kilowatt. We're heading to the Andersons' tiny house. So we're going to do a stove swap, put in a Dwarf 5 kilowatt in their tiny house. They have a larger stove. They don't really like the aesthetic of it. The glass is like this big. They like the larger glass. Plus it takes a bigger footprint, and they got a little toddler and they don't want her to get burned. So this one could be a little step further back. They are not your average tiny house dwellers. So as we drive there, I want to tell you a little bit about their backstory. So in 2012, my wife was a first grade teacher. We kind of did a life audit and decided to have her quit her job so she could be at home with our new baby.
It's been a fun 7 years.
We bought an old 66 Airstream, remodeled it, and that became our home for the next 4 years. Candace Anderson was her replacement. We became good friends, quick friends with the Anderson, and we actually parked our Airstream next to their house for a few summers. So fast forward a few years, and Candace is with child, and they started kind of, looking at their lives and how, they were spending their time, and decided that, Candace wanted to be at home. So she ended up quitting her job. Fast forward to today, they're in the process of building their barndominum, as they call it, dream home. Definitely not a tiny house, and they are not your typical tiny house people. They're not minimalists, but they are currently living in a tiny house with their 2 kids. Hello!
Come in. Hi, I'm Candace. This is
Jared.
And welcome to our temporary tiny home.
Hopefully temporary. We're not true, we've been told, we're not true tiny home people. We're building a big house over there, and we got this guy for right now, and I think it's been fun.
So I was looking at rentals every single day. We have 2 dogs, 2 kids. Couldn't find anything that wasn't $1 million.
And finally she would find one and be like, I've got one, it's great. And of course I'm saying, well, how much is it? And it's always
Too
landing
much.
at, $1,700 or more, and thinking,
$2,000, $2,200, $2,400.
So I was randomly driving by a lot in our area that actually carried some tiny houses and whatnot. And so I stopped in and I thought, you know what? I feel like this might be a great idea to invest in one of these and not be throwing our money away to rent. So the tiny house for us is more so a means to an end. It's not the goal. The goal is actually a quite large house that we're building, more like a barn style house. We're trying to maximize square footage, actually, ironically. The tiny house was a cool solution to our temporary problem of where to live while that's happening, because we can be right here, right next to the project. So eventually we'll move out of here into our main house and hopefully keep this place and rent it out as an Airbnb or have it as a guest house for when people come. But in the meantime, it's been an adventure, I would say.
An adventure, yes.
She loves it. She's got all her furniture and all her comforts that she needs.
So the tiny house is, according to tiny house people, not that tiny. But it is
Right.
540 square feet. And that is tiny enough for me.
Yeah, I got a lot of flack from some people at work that this is not a tiny house at all. And there's a very large porch actually out off the front, and so it actually looks like a single wide mobile home. It's like 60 feet long, I think. No, 70 something feet long. But as far as indoor space, I guess it meets the definition. Welcome to our tiny kitchen that I don't actually fit under. I'm 6'5". I've got shoes on right now. I normally don't, but still, I gotta have just a little bit of a slouch in my posture when I'm in the kitchen. So, and the shower is definitely a little bit of a yoga experience for me. But that's fine. I usually take quick showers anyway, so not a big deal. So we actually were gonna do a big house remodel at our last house that was going to include a real fireplace with, burning real wood, which I've always wanted and I've never had. But that fell through. Now we're out here doing this thing, and we're still not going to do that in the big barn house. But even though we have radiant floor heating in this unit, and that is our main source of heat, we'll still definitely fire up the stove. And it's nice to know that we have that in case power goes out, because power does go out where we live here from time to time.
There you get a little perspective, just orientation. You know, this is sticking in, what, another almost a foot into the room. About the same height, but then the viewing area, this, you know, a lot of your fire's back here, and you just can't see as many flames, which is kind of a bummer. It's a big reason to have a stove in your house, is to enjoy the ambience.
Let me tell you what the hardest part has been about this scenario. Every day, our 3-year-old has room time. Here, he is yet to have an actual room time, because even if he is up in the loft, he's right here yelling at me that he wants to come down the whole time.
When we first moved into this, getting it all level was quite a process, and I didn't want it to be way up off the ground. I wanted it to be set a little bit lower. So anyway, that took a while. And we also did not have permanent power yet, and so we were on a generator for 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
So getting gas every day, every other day. Now we've got permanent power in, and now we're getting into colder weather where our water hose is freezing. So we're actually draining it at night, and we should have a permanent well put in like a week or so, and then that problem will be solved. So we're slowly, you know, getting more settled and permanent here as infrastructure also goes in for the main house.
So with that same generator time period, the generator was like so loud. She's crying, he's throwing a fit, and I was like,
I'm throwing a fit?
well, maybe.
You're throwing a fit.
That's true.
Oh, that looks good. No, just don't touch it. It's good. The end goal is to have a hot tub out at the main house. But we're heading into winter and power's in place, so we might get the hot tub sooner than later and stick it out here for now. I won't substitute hot tub time for shower time like certain people I know, Nick, Tiny Wood Stoves, but put that in there. You tiny house people, you like to bathe anywhere you can get.
At the heart of the tiny living movement is being intentional. And oftentimes people like the Andersons will think, well, I'm not someone that values less house, more home, or is a minimalist. I want a great big house. Well, that doesn't mean that tiny living doesn't have any place in your journey. And I feel like for the Andersons, this stepping stone really serves them well, and they're not posers for what they're doing. So I just want to encourage you, if you're thinking about maybe downsizing to a smaller space, even if it's just for a short while, it may be a part of your journey, and do it. Thanks for watching.
More details on the Coeur d'Alene barn house, which is its own Instagram, thanks to my lovely wife here. More details on that. How many square feet is it total?
Is 5,200, but included in that is about a 900 square foot mother-in-law apartment that has a garage as well.
So it's cozy. It's the cozy dream.